repair deal Dan and I practically stole it from Cary Grant.
That if you keep talking this way, they'll take you away to the funny farm.
It's alive. It's alive. He's 150 years old, give or take. He's got a bolt through his neck and a heart made of something nobody can explain. You got a problem with that? Good. The man in the monster suit dead 8 days before his 67th birthday. The grandfather who lied about his age for 40 years, and the whole world believed him.
Well, that's as much as I can do.
The child star who left at 19 and didn't resurface for 4 decades.
But that masked Marvel's so dumb.
Stay with me. You know the Munsters. Ran for 2 seasons on CBS, 60 years ago. Where are they all in 2026? Most of them are gone now. The ones who are left have stories you have never heard.
Just become a man.
And the hard way. Not like you, Herman.
Fred Gwynne as Herman Munster. The man in the suit, Fred Gwynne, Herman Munster. The 7-foot Frankenstein in the cardigan who somehow made you feel like everything was going to be fine. Frederick Hubbard Gwynne, born July 10, 1926 in New York City. Harvard class of 51. Sang in the a cappella group. Aspired to be a painter. 37 years old when they put him in the suit. And that suit. 50 pounds of padding. 5-inch asphalt spreader boots that brought him to nearly 7 feet tall. 3 hours of makeup every single morning. Bright violet grease paint on his face because Violet photographed best in black and white.
It's enough I have to go out and scare up the rent every day.
Then the studio lights came on, and the heat came with them. Behind that lumbering, lovable giant was a man quietly being destroyed by the role. He could lose 10 pounds in a single shoot day, sweating through the padding, through the foam latex headpiece, through everything. The producers eventually rented a compressed air tank. They poked the nozzle inside his collar between takes just to keep him upright. If he sweated too hard, the headpiece came loose. Reapplying it took another hour. You try doing comedy in all this, with lights blazing and sweat pouring down your neck. That's a direct quote. That's what he said.
I was in their medical school for 6 years, in several different jars.
After the show ended, he refused to talk about it, refused interviews, spent the 1970s on Broadway rebuilding himself as a serious actor, wrote and illustrated children's books, painted, lived quietly in a farmhouse in rural Maryland with his second wife. He was being considered for a role in Punky Brewster in 1984. A casting director referred to him in the meeting as Herman Munster instead of his name. Gwynne stood up and walked out of the room. George Gaines got the part. Then came My Cousin Vinny in 1992. Judge Chamberlain Haller, Southern accent, scene after scene opposite Joe Pesci. The performance that finally let a new generation see what everyone who worked with him already knew. Critics noticed. Audiences noticed. It was the role that cracked him free. He died 14 months later. July 2nd, 1993. Pancreatic cancer. Taneytown, Maryland. He was buried in an unmarked grave in Finksburg, Maryland. No headstone. He was 66 years old. His 67th birthday was 8 days away. 8 days. The man who spent 30 years trying to escape Herman Munster finally did it. And then the clock ran out.
One bright and shining light that taught me wrong.
Yvonne De Carlo. As Lily Munster. The woman who had to say yes. Yvonne De Carlo. Lily Munster. The vampire wife in the white streak and the black dress. Margaret Yvonne Middleton. Born September 1st, 1922 in Vancouver, British Columbia. She was 41 when the show started. She was already a star. She'd been a star for 20 years. Let that land for a second. Yvonne De Carlo played Moses' wife in The 10 Commandments in 1956, standing opposite Charlton Heston, one of the biggest films in Hollywood history. She had 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, over 3 dozen films before the Munsters ever existed. Behind Lily Munster was a woman who took the role because she had no choice.
Now maybe you'll grow up to be half the man your father is.
Her husband, Hollywood stuntman Robert Morgan, lost his leg in 1962. A train ran him over on the set of How the West Was Won. Medical bills piled up. The studio system that had sustained her career collapsed. By the early 1960s, she was effectively broke. She said it herself. It meant security. It gave me a new, young audience I wouldn't have had otherwise. It made me hot again, which I wasn't for a while. She fought for more material on the show, begged the producers to give her something real to do. They wouldn't. She threatened to quit at the start of season 2. They kept writing Herman. She stayed. She played Lily. After the show ended, she found a genuine second act on Broadway. 1971, Stephen Sondheim's Follies. She originated the role of Carlotta Campion and sang, I'm Still Here. It's a song about a woman who survived everything the world threw at her, still standing at the end of it. If you know her story, that song hits differently. She suffered a minor stroke in 1998, spent her final years at the Motion Picture and Television Country House in Woodland Hills. It's a care facility for aging film workers, run by the same industry that once made her a star. She died January 8, 2007. Heart failure, 84 years old. The woman who stood beside Moses ended her days in a home for people the business had used up.
Take this car right back down to that used car lot.
Al Lewis is Grandpa. The man who outlived his own lie. Al Lewis, Grandpa. The cigar-chomping, cape-wearing, coffin-sleeping Dracula who stole every scene he was ever in. Born Abraham Meister, April 30th, 1923, Brooklyn, New York. 41 years old when the show started. 41. Not the ancient vampire grandfather you saw on screen. 41.
It sure beats burying yourself in the sand.
He told the world he was born in 1910. He told that story for so long, so completely. When he died in 2006, every obituary in the country reported his age as 95. His son Ted stepped forward the next day and corrected the record. His father was 82. Behind the character was a man who'd made the character his entire identity. Maybe he never wanted to escape it. He opened a restaurant in Greenwich Village, called it Grandpa's, sat at a table every night, cigar in hand, chatting with customers, signing autographs, being Grandpa for anyone who walked through the door. He hosted a radio show on WBAI in New York that ran until the week he died. He ran for governor of New York on the Green Party ticket in 2000, campaigned against drug laws and the death penalty, went to court to have his name appear on the ballot as Grandpa Al Lewis. A judge said no. He got 52,000 votes anyway. In 1997, a journalist found him in the lobby of a hotel in Havana, Cuba, surrounded by children, living there, acting as an informal historian of pre-Castro Cuba, engaging anyone who would listen on the achievements of socialism. Still on, always on. He died February 3, 2006. Roosevelt Island, New York City. Heart failure. His wife Karen was at his bedside. The WBAI program director announced it on air during the Saturday slot where Al was supposed to appear. The world mourned a 95-year-old man. He was 82. He'd been lying about his age since before most of his fans were born. He took the truth with him almost to the end.
Well, come on already. I don't have all day.
Beverly Owen as original Marilyn, the one who got out. Beverly Owen, the original Marilyn Munster, the normal one. The pretty blonde in a family of monsters who couldn't figure out why boys kept running away. Beverly Jane Ogg, born May 13, 1937 in Ottumwa, Iowa. 27 years old on set. She lasted 13 episodes. Behind that cheerful, oblivious performance was a young woman who was quietly falling apart. She hadn't wanted to leave New York. Her boyfriend, writer John Stone, was back there. Universal's contract required her to relocate to California. She was away from him, alone on a set full of monsters, and it broke her. Cast members said she was often in tears between takes, not acting, just crying. The situation was so obvious that Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis personally walked into the Universal executives' offices. They pleaded for her release. Two of the biggest stars on the lot, going to the mat for a 27-year-old they barely knew, because they could see she was drowning. She assumed the show would flop. That was part of why she took it. The plan was to do a few episodes, collect the paycheck, go home. Then it became a hit. The contract held her in California. She cried on set. And Gwynne and Lewis walked into that office. Universal eventually let her go. She left after episode 13. Married John Stone in Vermont on June 27, 1964. Stone went on to help create Sesame Street, Cookie Monster, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch. His signature is on all of them. They divorced in 1974. He died in 1997 of Lou Gehrig's disease. She earned a master's degree in early American history in 1989. She was 51. She moved to Vermont. She kept quiet. No anniversary panels, no nostalgia interviews, not one. She died February 21st, 2019, at home in Vermont. Ovarian cancer, diagnosed 2 years earlier, kept entirely private. She was 81. Butch Patrick confirmed it on Facebook. "What a sweet soul," he wrote. "I had the biggest crush on her." The next one is the worst one. The child who paid for all of it.
I just haven't been able to sleep for the last 2 nights.
Butch Patrick as Eddie Munster. Eddie Munster, the kid, the pointy-eared, widow's-peaked, lunchbox-carrying werewolf boy who made monster makeup seem like the most natural thing in the world. Patrick Allen Lilly, born August 2nd, 1953 in Inglewood, California. 11 years old when the show started. 11. The producers originally wanted Bill Mumy for the role. Mumy's parents said no. The makeup schedule was too demanding for a child. So it went to Butch Patrick, 11 years old. Into the chair every morning, into the suit, under the lights, doing it again. Behind that kid was a boy who had no stable home to return to. His parents had divorced. Show business gave him the only structure available. The schedule, the set, the family of monsters who showed up every day and knew where to stand. When the Munsters ended, that structure ended with it. He turned 19 and walked away from Hollywood to race cars and surf. And then the years started going. He said it himself later. He had the addict gene. He couldn't wait to go out and party. And when he partied, it made him feel accepted. He'd never felt comfortable in the Hollywood scene, not even when he was in it. 40 years. Alcohol, marijuana, cocaine. 40 years of it. November 2010. 57 years old. He checked himself into a private facility in New Jersey. His agent confirmed it publicly. A lifetime problem of substance abuse. 40 years. While getting sober, doctors found cancer. He got through it. He said later that sobriety saved his life. If he hadn't gotten clean, he'd have ignored the symptoms until it was too late. He married Layla Murray in 2016. He's 72 years old in 2026. He still does the conventions. He still does the voice. He works with people in recovery now. The boy who played the monster grew up to sit across from people fighting the same thing he fought. He made it through. Not all of them do.
I want to ask you if you'd give me a picture of yourself.
Pat Patrick, the last one standing. Pat Priest, the second Marilyn Munster, the one most people picture when they picture the role, even if they don't know her name. Patricia Ann Priest, born August 15, 1936 in Bountiful, Utah, 28 years old when she got the call. Here's the fact about Pat Priest that stops people cold. Her mother, Ivy Baker Priest, was the United States Treasurer under President Dwight D. Eisenhower. From 1953 to 1961, American paper currency printed during that entire period bore Ivy Baker Priest's signature. Every dollar bill in your grandparents' wallets had her name on it. Then her daughter went to Hollywood and played a monster's niece. Behind Marilyn was an actress who got the part in 4 days, then spent the next 2 years being told what she couldn't wear. No solid colors, nothing that showed her figure. Sex didn't fit a family sitcom, the producers said. She wanted more material. They kept writing Marilyn as set dressing. When the show ended and the 1966 film Munster Go Home went into production, the studio replaced her with a younger actress. She was 29 years old, too old to play Marilyn Munster at 29. She tested on a Wednesday, they called on Thursday, she signed Friday, started Monday. That was her big break. And then 2 years later, they told her she no longer looked the part. She kept working through the 1960s and 70s. Elvis Presley film, guest spots. Then she retired from acting in the 1980s, moved to Idaho, and spent over 20 years restoring and selling homes. She still shows up at Munsters conventions. She still signs autographs. She's 89 years old in 2026, the oldest survivor, the one they replaced and kept going anyway. Most of them didn't get to say that.
Oh, yes. Well, he lives at home with us, and he's just 151 years old.
Fred Gwynne in an unmarked grave, 8 days from 67. Yvonne De Carlo in a care home, 40 years after Moses' wife. Al Lewis, gone at 82, while the world thought he was 95. Beverly Owen, quiet in Vermont until the very end. 6 names, 60 years. They told us it was alive. They just didn't say what it was going to cost. Which one stayed with you? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe. There's one more person in this story. The one who put the suit on Fred Gwynne every morning for 3 hours, who watched what it did to him up close, and never talked about it. That story's already in the works. Don't miss it.